Adam here from the Walzer Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is compare a couple of Mazda vehicles. Now behind me here we have the Mazda CX-9, and we're going to compare that with the all-new Mazda CX-90. So we'll take a look at the interior, the exterior, and see how they stack up against each other. So let's begin with the Mazda CX-9. Now this is the 2023 model, and this is going to be the Grand Touring trim. So this is going to be pretty well loaded up for the CX-9. Now what I like about this is Mazda's Kodo design language is very relevant on this car, as well as passed on to the CX-90. This is still a really good looking vehicle and very recognizable as a Mazda, as it follows through the CX-30, the CX-5. All the vehicles in the lineup have a very similar design language, which I think Mazda did a very good job on. Now this one also rides on these 20-inch wheels. You can also apply the roof rack up above, so there's a lot of usability as far as it being a third-row SUV. Now let's talk about the powertrain for a second. So this one has the 2.5-liter turbocharged engine, which is going to be paired to the 6-speed automatic. Now the Mazda CX-9 comes standard in all-wheel drive. So this vehicle was first introduced in 2006 and then got a refresh sometime around 2016 and still remains the same for 2023, which shows you how good of a job Mazda did at designing this vehicle. It's been one of the class leaders, as well as a great vehicle to have as a third row for the Mazda lineup. But let's hop over and look at the exterior on that CX-90. So now looking at the CX-90, the first thing you notice is immediately how much larger this vehicle's presence is. It's got kind of an elongated look to the doors and the grille, and it's a very good looking vehicle. Like I said, Mazda spent a lot of time with their design, and the Kodo design language that flows into this vehicle is absolutely gorgeous. Maybe you've been looking at the German SUVs, and this is going to be on the same level of comparison when looking at the exterior styling. Now this one rides on 21-inch wheels, and this is going to be the 3.3-liter Turbo S package. So this one, obviously in the name, is the 3.3-liter turbo. There's also going to be a 2.5-liter mild hybrid system. So if you're looking for fuel economy over maybe some of the power, that might be one to look at, even though you don't lose that much total horsepower. The difference only being 340 horsepower versus about 320 in the hybrid version. So it is a PHEV, so that means it's a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So with that plug-in range, you can expect to get pretty decent returns as far as a lot of highway driving or city driving. There's a lot of great options for the powertrain when it comes to the CX-90, where there's only the one engine offered on the CX-9. So both are going to be paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So that was a 6-speed in the CX-9, now it goes to the 8-speed. So you keep the highway MPGs a little bit better because of that, as you get a little more gearing, and it's very smooth when you're out on the open road. Let's hop back over to the CX-9, we'll take a look at the interior. Okay, so this is again the CX-9 Grand Touring, and the first thing you have to notice is the red leather in here. I love this look. It's also got the red stitching that goes throughout, but the red leather, it's not a really bright red, but it just looks great in here, and these seats are really comfortable. Now these seats are going to be heated as well as being ventilated, and one of my favorite features, this has the heated steering wheel, which is great for those Minnesota winters. Now you notice we have just our standard sunroof up above here, and then our infotainment and everything in this vehicle. I mean, like I said, Mazda did such a great job designing it that it worked for such a long time that it's super easy to use. It's very friendly, whether you have your phone with you, like I always do, so you have wireless charging down here. So you can just drop your phone in there, and then you're gonna have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Now from there on the infotainment screen, this is gonna have your backup camera housed in there, your navigation, all of your radio controls, everything will be gone through this little knob down here, or there is voice controls. So on the steering wheel, you can click that button, just ask what you want it to do, and it's gonna do it for you. So it's pretty cool there. Now the CX-9 was an IIHS top safety pick. So what does that mean? It's one of the safest vehicles on the road. So you have your adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. I mean, the list goes on. And obviously as a third row SUV, if you're gonna have your family in the vehicle, you're gonna wanna make sure everyone is safe when you're out on the open road. So speaking of family, obviously you're going to want to know about the back second and third rows. So the second row in this model, again, that red leather runs all the way throughout, and this vehicle you have the option for up to 7 passenger seating. So when we're looking at the CX-90, that would go up to 8 passenger seating. So this will come standard with the bucket or captain's chairs in the second row. These are going to be heated in this model, and they do slide, they fold. There's a ton of different cargo ways you can load up this vehicle. So if you're not hauling people, you can make anything you need fit in the back. From there, the third row, obviously this vehicle is a little bit smaller than the CX-90, so you do lose a little bit of room back there. But if you're not worried about it, if it's just the kids going in there, if you're not bringing full-size adults around, everyone's going to fit very comfortably. And it would be a little tight as larger passengers like myself at about 6'1". I do find it a little smaller back there, but again, for shorter trips, it's not too bad. So a couple other cool things in here, we've got the Bose sound system. So like I said, with CarPlay, I had my phone hooked up, got the music going from my Spotify. It makes it very easy to get out on the road and instantly be comfortable in here. I mean, that's what's been great about the CX-9, is that when you hop in the vehicle, everything is familiar. You don't have to try and search out on a touchscreen what you're looking for. There's buttons for everything. You just drop the car into drive and you're off and going. So like I said, there's a lot of great features in the CX-9, but let's hop over to the CX-90 and we'll check that one out. Okay, so now we're in the CX-90, and again, similar but different, right? There's a lot of similarities between the CX-9 and now into the CX-90. First thing being, like I said, we've always got our cell phones with us, so wireless charging is just gonna be right here. And again, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that stuff is gonna be through the larger infotainment screen here. Now it's the same thing where it's controlled through a knob down here, or again, the voice control on the steering wheel. Now from there, you'll notice everything looks kind of familiar, right? There's a little bit more of an updated sense to the CX-90, which obviously it should be, as it's replacing now the CX-9. But you've got your controls up here for your air conditioning, there's heated seats, this one also has the heated steering wheel, and I actually really like this steering wheel. It's very comfortable in your hands, it's got paddle shifters on the back, so if you want to be a little bit sportier with that 8-speed automatic, you can certainly do that. Now beyond that, the infotainment screen, like I said, it's a little bit larger in here, and this one does have the 360 surround camera. So there's a little button down here you can press, or when you knock it over into reverse, that's gonna pop up, and then your full digital instrument cluster here will also show you some parking sensors. Okay, so then onto that digital instrument cluster here, it's super cool. There's a little button where you can kind of go through your eye active sense status, so that's gonna be all your safety stuff. From there, you can pull up your navigation, it'll show you your MPGs, and it's gonna also be paired to the heads-up display in this model. So that's gonna keep your attention focused on the road ahead. Now another similarity between the CX-9 and this is going to be the Bose sound system, which obviously sounds great in here once you have your phone paired up, or if you're just listening to standard radio. And then another cool thing is going to be the full panoramic sunroof up above. So the CX-9 only had the standard one. This one opens it all the way up, so for that rear passenger, the third row, it kind of gives it a little bit more airiness and opens it up very nicely for the back of the vehicle. Now, again, obviously, if you're looking at a third row SUV, what are we looking at with this one? So, like I said, the CX-9, you can do a 6 or 7 passenger. This one, you can go from 7 to 8 passengers if you'd like, and you can do a bunch of creature comfort stuff for the rear. So you can do the heated and ventilated seats for the captain's chairs, and you're gonna keep all of that same usability that you've come to love maybe in the CX-9, whether it's folding or sliding or kind of changing one side or the other. There's so much usability out of this vehicle, and you do get a little bit more space, I've noticed as well, back into that third row. So there's gonna be USB-C chargers in the back, so all the kids can keep everything charged up when you're on the go, and they're pretty comfortable captain's chairs, and I did notice a little bit more room in the third row as well as this vehicle, being that it is a little bit larger. So there's a lot of really cool options for the interior, whether it's kind of this turned aluminum look, or you can actually do like an Alcantara or a suede almost on the dash and some of the upper trims. There's so much cool stuff with the Mazda third row SUVs. It doesn't feel like an outdated replacement. Like some third row SUVs, they definitely can tell that maybe that's a little tired or a little bit outdated, but this one feels like just a little bit more enhanced version of the CX-9, which is what I really love about the Mazda lineup right now. So while there's a lot to love about both vehicles, obviously the CX-9 is going away, but the CX-90 is a great replacement for that vehicle. A lot of similar equipment, maybe you're already driving the CX-9 and you're looking at the CX-90, different powertrain options, a lot of really cool interior options make the CX-90 a great option to look at, or even going back to the CX-9, there's a lot of good equipment and style and good looks that make the CX-9 definitely one to check out. If you'd like more information, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by either one of our Mazda locations. We'd be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.